The first thing you're going to do for this assignment is to find an article about the science of learning. This could be something like the effects of sleep on learning, or the effects of stress on learning, or something about how our memory works, or strategies that we might use to help us remember. So for example, is highlighting an effective strategy? Or cramming for a test? Is it better to cram or space out our practice? I think you can probably guess the answer to that. Cognitive scientists have been studying the answers to these types of questions, and some of the things they've found are a little bit counterintuitive and surprising. So once you've found an article, you're going to make a podcast, and we're going to share these podcasts with each other. If we were doing this in a face-to-face class, I would set up this activity so that you would read an article and then share the main ideas with the people at your table. And that way you would be able to learn about more ideas than just the one that you'd studied. And I'd like that to happen in our online class as well. So we're all going to make a podcast, and we're going to post that podcast in the forums and listen to a few of each other's so that we can get some of this interesting information that cognitive scientists are coming up with. So in your podcast, I'd like it to have 3 parts. First of all, you're just going to describe the main ideas of that article. You can bring in some other sources to support that idea and flesh it out a little bit if you like. Please state the name of the article and the author so that we can track it down as well. You're going to talk about the applicability to your own practice. So what does this concept mean for what you do? Can you think of an activity that would draw on that concept? Or can you think of how you would set up a class or a workshop that would draw on that concept? And finally, you're going to talk about the reliability of the article. So there is a lot of information on the internet. It's not all reliable. Tell us how much you trust this article and why. Who wrote it? What are their credentials to be writing about this topic? Who is it written for? Why was it written? Are they trying to sell us something, or are they just trying to share some information? Does it give you the publisher? Does it tell you the date it was produced? Do they provide a list of the sources they used so that we can find out where they got their research from? It does not have to be a peer-reviewed academic journal. There's lots of good material out there that's written for the public or that's written for instructors. And if there's one element that's weak in this article, maybe they didn't provide a reference list, just tell us that and tell us why you think that article could have been a little stronger. So you're going to make this podcast. It's going to be in an MP3 format. Most people will have a function on their phone to do MP3 recordings, or you can probably download an app on your phone that will do that. There are also some sources online that I've provided as resources. If you feel really fancy, there's a free one called Audacity. It takes a little bit of time to learn, but it's quite cool, and you can put in music, background music, and do editing like you would with a word processor as well. So you're going to make an MP3 recording, you're going to put it in the forums, and at the end, when you're done, I'd like you to self-assess your podcast using the rubric provided. So take a look at the rubric, give us a justification for why you're giving yourself the mark that you do, and describe to me 2 of the podcasts that you listened to and why you thought they were interesting. And I'm looking forward to listening to these as well.